So for the first time ever, I think, in the UK, we have a crash-damaged Mercedes SL43 coming up for auction at CoPart. Now, this car has an incredibly low mileage of just 1,828 miles, and we're going to be having a closer look at the damage on this car to see if it's something we might be interested in, but it has had a front-end collision. Now, one of the things to note on this car, it has the Mercedes Magna paint, the flat matte paint, which is extremely expensive and difficult to repair. Although the current bid is at £37,250 plus all the costs, which is about 10% on top of that, the bidding will go much higher once the auction starts in a day or two's time, and we will be just filming that auction live at the end of this video. The rest of this car looks to be in really good shape. There doesn't seem to be any damage on the back or the roof or any of the sides. It's got a red interior, not to everyone's liking. The engine looks good. So the main damage on this car is this front section here. Now, if you were to buy this car, you would need at least a headlight, which is about £2,200. You're going to need a front bumper, which is about 750 quid. You're going to possibly need a front wing, which are actually on back order at the moment, and at least one radiator, which is about 700 quid. And quite apart from the major things that you can actually see, you will be having to get all the clips, the little plastic bits and the pipes that sit behind there, which if you've ever bought those parts from Mercedes before, you will know run into the hundreds, if not the thousands, very quickly. And that is, of course, assuming that there's no structural damage on this car, which there may well be. It's very difficult to tell that unless you actually go and look at the car. As I mentioned, the headlights on this car, which are available, are about £2,200, but on modern cars they're often coded to the car, which could entail a trip to Mercedes, which in itself wouldn't be cheap. The good thing about this car is it doesn't look like any airbags have been deployed or any pyro fuses have gone off, but things like the fender lining and possibly, once again, without seeing the car, you wouldn't know the suspension, the tyres, or the wheel may be buckled. All of those things can very quickly run into thousands of pounds. And I would look at this car and think the repair cost is going to be anywhere between £10,000 and £20,000. But the problem you're going to be faced with, even if you can get hold of all the parts, is that you're going to end up with a Category S car. Having a Category S car doesn't really matter if you plan on keeping the car and driving it for the rest of your life. But if you are thinking of repairing this car and selling it on, you're probably going to get 20-30% less than a non-Category S car. In fact, some people in that kind of spending league would be completely put off altogether by a Category S car. And then, of course, when you go to Mercedes and buy one of these cars or order one, you get to spec it as you would like it. And having a red interior or a flat Magna paint job may not be to everyone's liking. And that Magna paint, I think I mentioned, apart from it being a very expensive option, £2,300 option, but just to repair it, if you scratch that car, or indeed if you need to paint it, I think Mercedes insist on painting the whole car rather than individual panels or just the bumper. So you can imagine the cost of respraying a car, or even wrapping the car, which would be a cheaper option, is still going to run into thousands of pounds. So let's just take a look and see what a non-crash damaged SL43 is available for in the UK. So at the time of writing, there are 14 SL43s for sale on AutoTrader, and the lowest priced one is at £56,975. Now, let's just have a quick look. The lower the price, it would tend to be the higher the mileage on a car. So let's have a look. This particular SL43 here has pretty high mileage, 25,000 miles or thereabouts. That's not high mileage for a normal car, but for a supercar, that's deemed to be pretty high mileage. But to be honest, for an engine like this, that's absolutely nothing, and it certainly wouldn't put me off buying a car like that. The second cheapest car, which is about 57,000 and something, has got much higher miles, 33,000 miles, but I'm sure you'd be able to negotiate several £1,000 discount from the dealers. Okay, so here is the live auction which took place earlier today. You can see that the bidding's up to £40,000. Now, this car currently has a reserve on it, and you won't know what the reserve is until it's hit. What you're in the live auction, as you approach the reserve, you will see something come up on the screen saying close to reserve price. But just bear in mind that whatever price you see, for example, £41,000, £42,000, the bid increments here are £250, but whatever price you're seeing on that screen, you can add about 10% onto that by the time you've paid the internet bidding fee, the lot retrieval fee, etc. So just bear in mind that any price you see there, you can add 10% to it. And also bear in mind that the cheapest non-crash damaged SL in the UK at the moment is about £56,000, just over, which I'm sure that you would be able to negotiate down. So whoever is paying, you can see that flashed up there, so that's now hit its reserve, which was £45,000, but whoever is willing to pay this amount of money for a crash damaged car, I really hope they've done their homework, because even in the best case scenario where you're doing all the work yourself and there are no labour costs, this price here of £46,250 equates to a final price of £50,500. So by the time you've added the wing, the light, possibly the bonnet, all the radiators and everything else, you're going to end up with a Category S car, which you've paid almost the same for as a non-Category S car, albeit with lower mileage. So we were thinking on bidding at this car, but everything has a price, and unfortunately the price of this particular car is way too high in my opinion. If you have the money, they do have a brand new SL43 up here in Bristol, currently on sale for £88,000. To see if maybe this car can replace the SL55 and maybe even the Cabriolet A4. Now, I've never sat in one of these cars. This is this was a demo car, so if we bought this car, we would effectively be the first owners, but it has been registered before. This is the sort of lowest spec version of this car, but it actually has several advantages over the 55 and the 63. It has less to go wrong, no rear wheel steering, and it's slightly more economical, which would suit us just fine. So let's have a look inside this car and see if it's something that we might be interested in. The biggest concerns is, or one of the exciting things, depending on how you look at it, is whether or not we're going to be able to fit Grace into this car. To get the seats slide forward on this car, it is a pull up. Okay, so I'm slightly biased, but I think this is a beautiful car. I really like the colour. I think it's lovely. Even my darling wife, the first thing she said is I like it, which is always a bit worrying.